Grace and peace to all who do the will of our Father in heaven. So, this is my second attempt to record this. I'm going to try to record this a little bit. I stopped halfway through the last one because I want to try to get this out a little bit better than I did before. I was having kind of a rough day at work, and I think maybe I was a little angsty because of the way I felt about work today. But the issue is that I'm hearing a lot of Israelites think they're going to flee on their own. I'm really concerned because even though I like some of these Israelites, I'm afraid to believe that some of them might be part of a deception, or they might be deceived and being deceived and deceiving others. And they think they're going to go back to Africa on their own because some of them believe that Jerusalem was really truly located in Africa. I'm not quite convinced of that. I'm leaving room for the Most High to reveal that to me, but from what I read in the Bible, it's not. From what I read in the Bible, I don't see that. I think they have the right location over there in the so-called Middle East. It's just that there's other deceptions happening around that. But anyway, so this whole thing about us going first, and then the Messiah coming is really troubling to me. That's really troubling to me because I know in the past that they had to literally run and flee Babylon, but I believe that Babylon is a spirit, first of all, and number two, is worldwide. So you're not just going to be able to flee and run from Babylon. Just like with circumcision, there was a circumcision of the flesh that was first, and then there was a circumcision of the heart or the spirit that was second. So this escaping Babylon was in the flesh the first time, but in the second time, escaping Babylon is in the spirit. You have to come out of Babylon spirit. When you come out, when the term coming out, especially when you're dealing with a harlot, not to be vulgar, but it's saying get out of her. Quit committing adultery with her. Get out of her. And so that's kind of the spiritual fleeing that we have to do. And so this whole idea that we're going to, I'm waiting for him to gather us, and there's nothing wrong with that because that's exactly what he says. That's exactly what he says he's going to do. The Messiah says he's going to do. Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai, he says he is going to gather his elect. He's going to gather Jew and Gentile, those who do the will of his Father in heaven, from the four corners, and bring them back into the land that was promised to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob. And so I have trouble with this doctrine that we're going to go somewhere first, and then the Messiah is going to show up. Because in Matthew chapter 24, at verse 26, he says, "Wherefore if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be." His point is everybody is going to see him. Everybody's going to know that it's him. All right, first of all. So 28, for whatsoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered. The eagles typically, I believe, refers to Edom. That's Rome and America and any other nation that came out of Rome, and especially any nation that uses the eagle as their logo or their flag, because that kind of identifies who they are. And then verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Now understand, he gives us a timeline, and this timeline fits exactly. I can't really get into all of that, but it fits perfectly into the understanding that the end of the tribulation and at the beginning of the wrath of the Most High is when he returns. He returns at the last trumpet. And many of these trumpets have not blown. And the judgment of Babylon doesn't even happen until the pouring out of the sixth or seventh vial, one of those. All the wrath has been poured out. The trumpets have already been blown. We were gone at the last trumpet. We were regathered to Christ. I don't want to say gone because people are like, oh, there's the rapture doctrine. But he said he's going to gather his elect. That's what he said. So, and that is after the tribulation, like he said. And so I'm not fleeing before then. I'm not fleeing until he brings me out, because he says he will. And so, where was I? And yeah, they shall see the sign. Just in case I skipped a line, let me start over. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Every eye shall see him. And he shall send his angels with a sound of a great trumpet. There's the last trumpet, the last trump. And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the earth, one end of heaven to the other. Deuteronomy 30, that when you call these things to mind among the nations, the blessing and the curses which I set before you, and you return unto me with your whole heart, to worship me with your whole heart, you and your children, then I will return and gather you. He said, if you are from the furthest ends of the earth to the other, from thence will I fetch thee. He said he used the words, I will fetch thee. And Jesus Christ said he will gather you. Why do we have in our minds that we are going to deliver ourselves? Because we are in a spiritual Babylon. We have to come out of her, right? Spiritually. The first circumcision was flesh. The second circumcision was of the heart and the spirit. The first Babylon was physical. The second Babylon is spiritual. You have to come out of her spiritually. And like the Messiah said himself, he is going to send his angels to gather you. The Most High in Deuteronomy 30 said, he will fetch you. If you think that you're going to deliver yourself and go to some place and then the Messiah is going to be there, you're ignoring the warning that he gave where he said, go not forth. If they say, behold, he is in the desert, do not go. He warned you. The Messiah warns you. Jesus Christ warns you. Do not go. If they say he's in the secret chambers, believe it not. Who do you think he's talking to? He's talking about at the end of the tribulation. He's talking about the last days, the time we are in right now. He's not talking about over the last 2,000 years. He is talking about right now. If they say, hey, he's in the desert, don't go. They say, let's get these passports and get out of here. We got to flee Babylon. Don't go. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect. His angels will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. Let me get that Deuteronomy 30 real quick. I got to get back to work because I'm a little bit late here. All right, so Deuteronomy 30. I hope I'm in King James. And in verse 4, if any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, because he drove us out to the uttermost parts of heaven. What did Jesus say? He's going to send his angels from one end of heaven to the other. So the Most High says, if you are driven out to the outermost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord, or Yahweh, the Elohim, the Lord your God, gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. This is Matthew chapter 24 right here. He's going to fetch you. So if they say, hey, let's go to Africa, that's where he is. Let's go. Let's flee. Let's go to Africa. The Messiah said, do not go. You have been warned.